Dear Lord, I just want to pray for Doc Rivers because he delusional. He need help. He wants to get extra credit for incomplete work. Make it make sense to me. I don't know what Doc Rivers got going on, but he over here running his mouth because ain't no sources. He's the source. He opened his mouth and he said this publicly. He said he doesn't get enough credit for having a 3-1 lead on NBA teams in the playoffs. That's like me wanting a A+ or wanting a B at least, and I didn't even complete my project. I didn't even complete my homework. What are we talking about? In life, you don't get good and extra credit for incomplete work. And that's what exactly Doc Rivers has done as far as NBA coaching is in his career. Yes, he has over 1,000 wins as an NBA head coach, which is great. A lot of coaches can't do that. Future Hall of Fame head coach with one championship, by the way, that he won in 2008, and we're in 2025, and we're coming up on 20 years, the fact that you won that last championship, because he's blown a lot of 3-1 leads. Let's go back to before he even won a title with the Boston Celtics. Let's go to Orlando Magic. He had a prime Tracy McGrady. Grant Hill was hurt. He had a 3-1 lead on the Detroit Pistons. I believe he won like four out of the past, like 3 out of the next 4 games or something like that series. And then he gets walked down by the Detroit Pistons. And to turn around, look, on average per game that the Pistons came back, they was up by 20. They won by 20. They won that series by a combined of 60 points in the games 4, 5, 6, and 7. Basically, that's abysmal. So then you go past the Magic, get fired from them. Then he goes to the Boston Celtics, inherits a trash team. What happens after the 2007 year that LeBron went to the finals? They traded for Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen and took a team up with Paul Pierce, and that was the big three, the first big three that we seen in the NBA that started to what we see today with teams trying to form big threes and all of that. So he won a championship with that, with the first year with the big three, with Tony Allen and Rajon Rondo and Kendrick Perkins and Leon Powe. I mean, that team was stacked, and that team won. They blew out my boy Kobe Bryant in the 2008 finals. Then you go to the next year, okay? 2009, Kevin Garnett ends up tears his meniscus. They don't repeat. They go to the finals again in 2010, but the greatness of Kobe Bryant said, I'll be damned if I let y'all win another championship, especially on my home court in Game 7. Man, please, y'all got me all the way effed up. So then we go to, to the Celtics after that. After they lost that, they had a 3-2 lead on LeBron James back in that 2011 season, and LeBron with the "you got me messed up" type shit, and he was on a roll. That 45-point Game 6 that we seen, that's one of the greatest performances, one of the top 5 greatest performances in NBA history. But let's fast forward a little bit more, because okay, you blew that 3-2 lead to LeBron, and then you end up leaving Boston because it was just time. That big three, they were old, they was done. Ray Allen left and went to Miami, and that was done. Now we go to the era with the Los Angeles Strippers. Let's go on and get to it. Let's fast forward to the Chris Paul era. He had a 3-1 lead on the Houston Rockets. Am I correct? He ended up blowing that lead. And I'll never forget, it was the game 6, I believe, that they was up on the Houston Rockets, because the Houston Rockets, because at that point, the Los Angeles Strippers was up 3-1 at that point. The Rockets won Game 5, then went back to LA for Game 6. Houston Rockets were down by at least 20, and Doc Rivers still found a way to choke that up. Now I know it's not all his fault, but it's the players. But then he's coaching the players, and the players are giving up the lead. So at the end of the day, if it falls on the players, then who else is going to fall up on? Choking Doc Rivers, and then they get destroyed in Game 7, lose, and then here you go. The CP3 eventually is going to 1 out, and they ship Blake Griffin out, and then at the end of the day, then Doc Rivers gets he still stays there out of all that. Then he gets Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, that superstar duo, because the year before that was a hell of a dog. That was a dog team with Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams and Pat Bev and Tobias Harris and the crew. That team was actually a good team. They went to the playoffs, lost to the Golden State Warriors, the 2019 Warriors, and I believe it's in 6, because Kevin Durant was just being Kevin Durant that series, and they basically lost that series. And then turn around, you get Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. We fast forward to the NBA playoffs. Give me the 2020 bubble. You literally get smoked. You get walked down. I'm talking about they got walked down by Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray gave him a 50-piece on him. We seen Kawhi Leonard. He was playing okay in Game 5 and Game 6, but Lord, in Game 7, they were down 20 with like 4 or 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. You had Pandemic P, Paul George himself, who right now is playing that same way before he got shut down. shooting shots and hitting off the side of the backboard. So I'm saying all of this. Then we fast forward, he loses that series, he gets smoked, he gets stripped down by the Denver McNuggets, and then turn around, he goes to the Philadelphia 76ers. What does he do then? He blows another lead. You got Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. You blow that lead. Part of that is also because of Ben Simmons' fault, because his ass was scared to shoot free throws, so that was part of it. Then you get James Honeyboy on the team, James Harden. You literally can't make this up with Doc Rivers. Every time you look up, he's blowing a 3-1 or 3-2 lead. Yeah, some of his superstars did wet the bed, like a Kawhi Leonard who wetted the bed in Game 7. Don't even get me started with Pandemic P. Paul George himself, who ain't just wet the bed, he on himself in the playoffs in that Game 7. Matter of fact, that whole damn series he shit on himself. And then you turn around, you go to the Philadelphia 76ers with James Honeybun, who didn't want to show up, who never really shows up in the playoffs. I mean, he showed up with Houston sometimes, but mainly with the Sixers, his ass was a no-show besides 2 games where he dropped over 40. And outside of that, you couldn't find his ass. And then Joel Embiid. At times he showed up, at times he didn't. And Tracy McGrady, back with the Orlando Magic. At times he showed up, well, a lot of times he showed up because there was a lot of the weight that was carried on his shoulders because of the injuries of Grant Hill. That was supposed to be that dynamic duo. And on a side note, they were supposed to have Tim Duncan, but for some reason, Doc Rivers didn't want Tim Duncan's family on the plane with him. That's another video for another day. But Doc Rivers, I really can't believe he said that out loud. And he's an excellent coach, excellent regular season coach. Like I said, he is a NBA champion. He knows how to win. He had a big 3 when they were all at the tail end of their prime, and then winning the championship. Congratulations. That was in 2008. Damn it, I was in middle school. We're in 2025 now. Something got to shake. Because, and also, if I'm Giannis Antetokounmpo and I'm on the Milwaukee Bucks, I hear you say some shit like that, I'm worried as hell. I'm nervous because Giannis is trying to win. I guarantee you, if the Bucks don't win this, first of all, this experience has already been a failure to me because nobody's really talking about the Milwaukee Bucks being a finals contender. You're not taking the Milwaukee Bucks over the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're not taking the Milwaukee Bucks over the Boston Celtics. Hell, some people ain't even taking Milwaukee Bucks over the New York Knicks, and their defense has been dog shit this year. They're not the same Knicks team that everybody thought that they was going to be. They're good offensively, but they have no bench, and Tom Thibodeau doesn't even want to use the bench just in case they probably do have one. He don't even want to use them. But the Bucks are the 4th best team in the East. Hell, you talk to some people, they probably even the 5th best team behind the Indiana Pacers or the Orlando Magic if they was to get healthy. But this Dame and Giannis experience has been a failure, and they brought in Doc Rivers to try to be that head coach that's going to bring them over the top. Minus 2008, y'all tell me what team Doc Rivers took over the top and they actually won a championship or even went to a conference finals. Tell me what team was that. I'll wait. Because right now I can't think of none. I can't. He failed with Joel Embiid and he failed with James Honeybun to get them to a conference finals. He failed with Kawhi Leonard and Pandemic P on getting them to a conference finals. He failed with Tracy McGrady on getting them to a conference finals. The only team he's gotten to a conference finals with was the Boston Celtics with KG, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, where he went to 2 finals, and I believe he went to 4 conference finals, I believe, his tenure as a head coach there. So it was either 3 or 4. But I just don't get it, Doc Rivers. Why would you say some stuff like that out loud? See, if you're a Bucks fan, I feel bad for you. I pray for you. I wish you the best. Because as a Laker fan, my team going all the way. Hopefully this year. Because right now, their defense is looking like complete ass. Time making this video, the Milwaukee Bucks are still one of the top 5 teams in the East. Do I see them going home in the first round? Abso-damn-lutely. They'll be lucky if they get past the first round. Now, say that 4th, little 5th range, and they're probably going to get the Indiana Pacers or the Orlando Magic or the Detroit Pistons in the first round. So, do you even take them to win that series? That's a toss-up. Because like I said, this Dame and Giannis experience just isn't working. And Doc Rivers, it shows that literally how inept he can be as a head coach at times. He doesn't make guys better. What we seen, I remember with the Philadelphia 76ers with Joel Embiid. He was supposed to make guys better. Instead, I'm seeing Joel Embiid handle the ball at the top of the key at the 3-point line. If you don't get your big ass in the post and go do some work, but this Doc Rivers we talking about. He don't really make guys better. Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett, they didn't need him to make them better. They was already at the point of their career where they was at the end of their prime. So he didn't make them better. Rajon Rondo was such a brilliant basketball player. He didn't really make him better. Hell, they was sitting there arguing damn on the court about what play to call because that's how smart Rondo was. But at the end of the day, do y'all see the Milwaukee Bucks making a deep postseason run this year? Because if they don't, how is Doc Rivers going to be remembered? Because you take away the 2008 championship year, he's been complete in the playoffs, not in the regular season, because he'll get you over 50 games. He'll get you over 50 wins. But come postseason time, him and his teams continue to wet the bed. They shit the bed. They shit on themselves. Hell, they don't even make it to the bathroom. They miss the toilet. So I don't get it. So let me know what y'all think, man. Was Doc Rivers was he kind of, delusional for saying something like this, especially out to the world, out to the public, because this was a crazy comment that he said. So let me know what y'all think, man. Leave a comment in the comment section, like the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Y'all be smooth. I'll catch y'all in the next video.